You have the internets inside the NBA. Even better because it's the Productive Conversation Podcast's NBA crew. So without further ado, we have four of the best returning to reflect on what's been going crazy in the NBA postseason. First, we have Alex Ranniello. Welcome back, Alex.
My man, how are you?
Happy to have you, man. Happy to have you. Fresh Faces, New Ideas host David Bach is here. What's up?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Glad to be here.
Man.
You know it. And then we have the host of the Word for Word podcast, Dolor and Bars the Guy. What's up, my buddies?
Oh,
good, man. Glad to have you all with us as we reflect on the end of the conference semifinals, and we reflect right into the Western and Eastern Conference finals. So, first things first to talk about. As the NBA has been progressing in the finals, as of we're recording here on Tuesday, June 22nd, the Eastern Conference finals start tonight, game one. We have game two of the Western Conference finals where the Suns are leading 1-0. Yeah, as we're recorded today, but exactly. So we have lots of things to discuss, and who would have thought this Final Four would come together, as in Milwaukee, Atlanta, Phoenix, and Los Angeles. But before we get into the coverage of these series and the obituaries of the teams who are eliminated in the conference semifinals, there's one huge elephant in the room we should all discuss. The injury bug has killed some teams' momentum in the playoffs. It's been a huge factor in this year's playoffs. Whether you have Kawhi Leonard tearing an ACL, you have Kyrie Irving with a high ankle sprain, you have CP3 going to COVID protocol, and lots more. And obviously, life happens, and, we've had plenty of comments going on with the injuries. But I want to throw it out to you guys. How big is this injury problem? Do you think that obviously is the ultimate factor of why we have our Final Four teams? Do you think that, this is just what happens in sports, obviously? Are we like LeBron saying, these injuries are various reasons starting too soon or whatever? I'll throw it out there, and whoever wants to start. But talk to me about the injury problem and how you're feeling about it, and how is it affecting you perceiving and watching these NBA playoffs right now?
Well, it shows who's a real contender. Because, look, this is the most wide open field we've had in years. The last, half decade was basically Golden State just romped everybody. Mm-hmm. And then this year was, with LA. Let's be clear. The Suns would not be in the Western Conference Finals if LA was healthy. They also wouldn't have played the Lakers either. They wouldn't have swept Denver if Jamal Murray hadn't been injured. They obviously has a huge impact. Now, obviously, some of them are, things you can't control that happen in the playoffs. Kyrie going down was on, Giannis's foot. That probably could have happened irregardless. But I think it hurt the West more than it did the East. I don't really see the brackets changing all that much from the the regular season injuries in the East versus the playoff injuries.
And I agree with Batch because, like he said, the West really got hit by injury more than really anything. Mm-hmm. LeBron going down, AD is never really kind of healthy, so we kind of should have expected that. That was big to that whole series right there in itself. Would we be talking about a Suns possible conference finals right now? No, would it be? We'll be talking about an LA conference finals, and we know how that would have turned out, especially with Kawhi. He's kind of always injured lately. Shaky 3 or Shaky 13, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, pretty much. I agree with Batch. I think.
Wait, you good? I think a lot of it just has to do with the condensed season. I mean, this is the shortest off season in NBA history, I think, of all sports, of the major four. And I think that a lot of these guys, they weren't able to condition in the offseason the way they wanted to and the way they wanted to through the season because of a limited amount of practices between games. So I think a lot of it has to do with those two factors.
And they thought they were going to start later. The thought was maybe January. They thought they were going to have another month or two to get ready. And that definitely threw guys, especially if they're guys in if you look at the two teams that went to the finals, they were the ones that really the Heat got fucked. They were so screwed for the first half of the season. Jimmy Butler missed half of the season from either multiple COVID or other injuries, and then we saw what happened. LeBron's old. The dude has more miles. Has he officially played more minutes than anybody else in NBA history, or is he's right on the cut? He's played 3 extra season.
He's behind Kareem and Carl, I thought.
Nah, it's official. It's official as of late.
I think that's in points.
Oh, for real?
That's in points.
I think in minutes, I think he's played the most.
No. Yeah, he's still behind them in points and stuff, but as far and playoff games in general, no one's seeing LeBron. We kind of gotta give him that. As much as people say, he's not the GOAT, he may not be the GOAT, but he's the playoff GOAT.
His longevity is
Tom Brady. He's the Tom Brady of the NBA football, playoff. Sorry.
And I can't confirm that LeBron is leading the all-time minutes leader in the NBA. As of this month, he's had 50,054 minutes. The second most is Kobe at 48,000. God rest his soul. And good point there. You guys even think with, so many people are saying right now that the Phoenix Suns are, the most with the exception of Chris Paul being out, they feel that they are the most ready to win these finals. You still believe that with your Crowders, your Bookers, your Aytons, all of that. You still think even with a healthy Lakers team, they wouldn't be in the position they're in? What do you have to say, Bars?
Oh, you talking about that? I kind of thought the Lakers wasn't gonna, I kind of hoped on them, but I didn't think they was gonna go. Like I said, when I go back and I find it on Facebook, I will archive this shit. I will screenshot it and I will send it to y'all. But I called it out mad long ago. I said Atlanta Suns, and they clowned me. They laughed at me. They thought I was a madman. They were and I literally just posted last night. I was like, it's looking like in Atlanta, But listen, what do I think about it? I think that DeAndre Ayton would have had to work against AD. I feel Jay Crowder can't stop LeBron James. And against players of LeBron's caliber, Jay Crowder has shown to come up short. And it's not just he's a journeyman. Jay Crowder's a journeyman, and it's proved on every team, except I want to say probably in Miami, because that was probably an aberration year for him, but that's why we did so good. I'm not even going to front, because without his three-point shooting, we were looking kind of soft this year.
But here's the thing, though. A journeyman's different from, a guy who's going to contenders every year, because PJ Tucker's in the same boat, and they wouldn't be chasing after him if they didn't think he could contribute,
Oh, listen, we're going to save the PJ Tucker story for the Bucks. We get there. I got a whole thank you, Dole. I got a whole spiel on that. But that's just we'll get to that. But Devin Booker just did a triple-double. I had to talk with my mans about it earlier, and I think it goes Will, Devin. Oh no, Will, Kobe, or Will, Kobe, Devin, Will. To be on that list, period, is something crazy enough in itself. And I told my boy, I was like, yo, I don't think that a Kawhi-less team can defeat a Devin Booker. So with a solid point guard, I like we talked about earlier, the Suns would have took it to 7 against the Lakers. So against this team, I see 4-2, if not a sweep.
All right. Cool. Well,
long-winded.
Like I said, we will definitely get into that once we hit more on the Suns, but why don't we just get right into the coverage right now with the injury bug? After the injury bug, we have seen the teams who are able to make it through, durability factor. As also Alex Ranniello showed us a picture of PJ Tucker. He looks so
I'm cleaning it right now. Okay, that's a hell of a picture.
Yes.
That's a hell of a picture.
We will post that pic. We will have this pic posted, of course, with Alex's permission on the website, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
I didn't get to see it.
But
yeah, he was playing before we get back to the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was playing Drew League in the offseason. I was coming back from vacation and I saw him in the airport. It was right after they lost when he was on Houston and Chris Paul went down for Game 7. And I was like, man, y'all get him next year. And he was going up the escalator. He's like, man.
Yo, that's awesome.
We appreciate the camaraderie. And check out the pic at Productive Conversations Podcast on Instagram. Yeah. But yes, let's get into the fun. Let's talk about the big story already starting today. As we reflect on the teams who were eliminated in the conference finals, first, we have to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers and who has become the budding joke of Twitter, of every single sports media outlet today, Ben Simmons.
BS.
Literally passing up the opportunity to be a hero.
I even noticed that.
Now people are asking for his heads. We're seeing videos of him. We're seeing videos of jerseys being burned. We have Shaq saying he beat his ass in the locker room if he was there. And you have Joel pretty much implying how much he fucked up in it without saying his name. He's really turned into a scapegoat for the Sixers as they collapse in Game 7 against the Hawks. And it's they say trust the process, and where it's led them. And I love it. I love seeing the Sixers fail miserably. So let's get in these thoughts. We could obviously talk about the elephant in the room with Simmons. Is Simmons gone? Is Simmons never going to get any respect again? Has he shown his true colors? Bars, I see you're very animated, have some emotion here. Tell us your thoughts of what's going on.
If I was the coach, if I was the GM, if I was the head of basketball operations, I would fire whoever drafted Ben Simmons. And then I get Ben Simmons. Like, at this point, Markelle Fultz is looking better. And
I know. Cut it out.
Wait. First off, I do have something good to tell you. The guy who drafted Ben Simmons was fired. It was a couple of years ago, but Daryl Morey is no longer in charge of the Sixers.
Yeah, he's in charge of
Daryl Morey's trust the process.
Oh wow.
Now he is. He wasn't at the time though.
Isn't Daryl Morey the same?
I thought it was Sam. It was Sam Hinkie, wasn't it? It was Sam Hinkie.
No, you're right. It was Sam Hinkie. Daryl Morey was.
Okay. But either way, Daryl Morey's trash too. Daryl Morey's trash too. It doesn't matter. So I wouldn't. So it's not surprising that if he would have made that kind of choice. Like, but listen. First of all, Ben Simmons couldn't shoot a three to save his mother's life. So
really couldn't.
We need to ask ourselves, what is this man really doing on the team outside of distributing the ball, being big, and we know how to stop being big. Throw something big on him. What was he really there for? Like, to look pretty. Like, we drafted high, we got to keep him there. Ben, I don't think has ever, led the league in anything. Ben has never come up on an MVP conversation. Yo, send either send him to the D League, send him to the pasture, or put him on a different team. That's the way I see it. But Ben Simmons cost them several games, not one. It wasn't just the last game. It wasn't just Game 7. Ben cost them Game 6. No, not Game 6, but he was a liability Game 6.
So if we're gonna hold him accountable, then we got to hold Doc Rivers accountable. I'm sorry.
You got to hold the whole team accountable. Which,
like I said before we recorded, Doc was like this. They won Game 6.
How culpable is Doc Rivers in all this? I think that's an interesting.
I feel Doc's like, yo, I got money, I'm good. Like, you just send me on now. Doc ain't been trying to win a championship since he got his. Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's the third straight Game 7. Third straight Game 7 with loss.
Yeah, he's not a good situational in-game coach. It's like certain guys like this, like Belichick can go into a half and come back with a game plan for a second half, but he's just not good situationally with these teams, and that's why you see these epic collapses mid-game where they could be up 20, 15 points or whatever. It was like last year they lost like a 19 and 16 and 12-point lead with the Clippers. So
to be fair to Doc, what are you supposed to do as a coach? Where I think it was Game 5.
Yeah.
Only 2 players scored the entire second half.
You call timeouts.
Yeah, where was Tobias in all this?
Tobias had a really bad Game 5, and then he played good the other games. But they won one game because of Shake Milton, and like, look, I'm not putting all the blame. I mean, Ben Simmons was bad. And I think the real issue with Ben is he doesn't need to shoot threes, but he needs to have like some jump shot, like even a free throw line thing, like a mid-range jump. Like,
you need to be a threat on the floor. That's what it is. You need to at least be a threat to keep the defense honest.
He made 3 field goals the whole 7 games.
It's like, oh snap, he gonna dunk, pass the ball, and might pull up a DeMar DeRozan mid-ranger. Like, no, like he don't got that. Like he's nothing. They're like,
and that's like that doesn't even make. That's the most mind-blowing thing about this. Like, he is actually a very really, like, his defense generally, what he can do, he can basically guard any position because of how big he is, and his passing is exceptional. But like, the fact that he's at this point, you have to assume he's going out of his way to say fuck you to everyone on his team, to just be like, I'm not even attempting to learn how to, like, JJ Redick and their shooting coach of Philly both said he's shooting with the wrong fucking hand. And he was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm just not going to shoot anymore. It's different than when like Trey got pissed at John Collins. Is like, I'm not going to shoot at all. Like he has gone 3 years now where they're like, hey, maybe you want to shoot a little bit. And he's just like, no. So he needs to go to a system. He needs to basically be the big man in a system surrounded by shooters.
Even
and I think
taking shots.
The best place for him to be is Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
That was a jump. But here's the thing, though. You guys talk about no lack of progress in 3 years. Like, don't you think Dwight Howard should have been the first person to pull him aside and say, hey, don't waste your best years just because you don't want to practice?
If you're Ben Simmons, would you listen?
Because let me tell you something. I think Dwight could have been the best big man for the last 10, 12 years if he just put any ounce of work into his game.
Yeah, but if you're Ben Simmons, do you listen to Dwight Howard?
You should, as a cautionary tale. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. I give you that.
Thank you.
I've been in the league my entire life, son. I just got my ring last year. Like, that's like riding the bench, bro. Not riding the bench, but like coming off the vine. Like,
I think if Danny Green said it'd be different than Ben Simmons, than Dwight. I think Danny Green probably should have been the one to bring it up. But I don't think
Danny Green got some rings though, and
that's why it would have been more. It would have come more from Danny than it would have from Dwight Howard.
Danny Green got hardware.
He's not a vocal leader though.
Yo, Danny Green was a Ray Allen travel away from Finals MVP.
Danny Green is the second coming of Matt Barnes.
No, he's the second coming of Robert Horry.
Yeah.
Oh,
however you can stack those
chips.
rings up.
Yeah, Matt Barnes has no rings.
So one thing we can't all.
He's got one with Golden State.
Matt Barnes got a ring.
Wait, was he on that 06 team?
No, he was on the Golden State team that won it though.
Matt Barnes got a ring.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. That's why I say that, because he's just like the suave dude. Like, I feel like Danny Green just feel like he's too cool to play no more. Like, dude, shoot the ball.
Well, to be fair, Danny Green does not learn. Listen, I'm a Spurs fan. Danny Green still dribbles the same way he does when he came into the league. The dude looks bow-legged and he can't. It's like the weirdest thing to watch. Like, him and Eric Gordon to me are like the weirdest people to watch dribble, because first off, Eric Gordon looks like a box. And then he always looks like he's out of control. And Danny Green's bow-legged, and I don't understand if he doesn't know how to dribble.
However you get those things. Yeah, he is a double game here.
Just because you're in the league don't mean you can play the game, though. Like, to the every, like, facet. Some people can't dribble. You know what I'm saying? That's Danny Green.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Let's bring it back to Ben
Simmons.
Let's tell you, Ben Simmons to Oklahoma City is the trade.
Yes,
bro. Brook Lopez is trades, bro. That's all.
Hold on, no. I got a wild take on Brook Lopez later.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Sixers as general manager. I think Elton Brand's still a general manager, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't shop him until you at least maximize his improvement in the offseason with shooting, because right now he's at an all-time low in terms of market value. So you can't move him.
Yeah, who really would want him? Remember,
Right.
he scored only 3 field goals.
The only move potentially that I see even in the books is CJ McCollum, because he'll be on the market. But that's just telling Dame that we're not ready to win anymore.
I disagree on that, but I think there's a different trade that might be better for them.
I'm sending Ben Simmons to Sacramento for Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox.
They wouldn't do that.
They're not going to trade you Fox.
My boy,
they may give you Buddy.
That's beautiful.
He's a top 10 guy under 25. There's no way.
They're not going to give you De'Aaron Fox. I didn't even think of. No, I'm telling you, it's Oklahoma City for Kemba and Pick.
De'Aaron Fox is a reach. I know.
Because he cooks.
I'll take Harrison Barnes if he's still over there too. But I'm not taking him. Yeah, for real. Oh hell yeah! I'll definitely take Harrison Barnes because he's a low value high output guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
he doesn't need the ball to make an impact.
Exactly. And he can hit you your threes, he can hit you your game winners. You can trust him to run the first unit, the second unit. You can trust him to play defense. Not
How old is Harrison Barnes? He's like what, 26?
But he got his first.
He's a little older than that.
Yeah, I mean he's been around for a long time. Like, look, I'm telling you, it's the sneaky one is Oklahoma City for Kemba, and then you figure out the draft stuff.
Yeah, you do some draft jujitsu and get it popping. Yo, I see. Listen. Derrick Rose to the Lakers. Listen, we gotta have a draft talk. We have to have a draft cast. Like
that's why I want to do this after.
Yes. Once I promise after the playoff coverage, we will be doing draft coverage as well.
Think about on draft night, everybody making some wild moves, right? What about somebody trading Derrick Rose over to the Lakers? I'm just saying, for like a couple other pieces and a couple of pieces. Like, I don't know. Draft night could be wild. And on draft night, they can toss up Kemba.
I'm telling you, you're not going to get. Look, you either have to do buy low on somebody, or you take it back a shitty contract. You take it back like Porzingis or Kevin Love's contract, or you buy low on Ben. Look, Ben Simmons is 24 years old. Oklahoma City has the timeline to take him. He's on contract for like 3 more years or something. You can put him next to Shea, and it depends on where they get this pick. Because if they get number 1, and then they get 4 from whatever happens with Houston. If you have to trade 4 and Walker and whatever else makes the salaries work, you should do that.
Yeah.
There's no way they draft all 4. There's no way they take off. I see them trading some picks away to get somebody big to bolster their front court.
Ben, look, if you have Simmons and you have Cade and you have Shea and you have Poku and you have I don't even know who their center is at this point.
I would get rid of Kemba. I would get rid of Kemba for Ben.
You have to, because that's the only way.
I would get rid of Kemba for Ben,
and then maybe Dort. I don't know how the salaries work.
I would trust Shea and whoever. Yeah, and Dort. I would trust Shea. Who's their point guard right now?
Kemba.
Oh shit! So I would pick up somebody young, or somebody like.
Well, I mean, look. Obviously, this depends on where they get.
I don't know.
Yeah, make some moves. If they get the Houston.
We gotta get back on track.
Look, they have to make a move.
That's a hell of a show.
The thing about this is the real issue for Atlanta, and this is the same issue Utah has. You're not going to get a better shot than this. There for the Sixers and for Utah, you're not going to get a better shot than this. You've seen it as wide open as possible, and especially for Philly, they were down. Atlanta was down there, like second, third best player, depending on where you rate Hunter, and then wherever you rate Cam Reddish. Like, Atlanta's only going to get better. Utah, the teams that are coming after you are only going to get better. Maybe the Pelicans are good next year. Maybe the Timberwolves are good next year. In the West, in the East, you have to assume that James Harden's not going to be fat and out of shape next year. So you have to assume that Brooklyn's going to get better.
James Harden's done.
He's playing in the Olympics, I think.
Mark my words. Mark my words. James Harden's done.
He is playing in the
Barnes has always had colorful words about James Harden.
If he did not win this year, he's done. I'm tired.
No, they can win. They very easily win next year. If they were healthy, they would have won that series at 4.
Definitely, I would have to agree with that.
We're talking about a team full of dudes who literally, KD, who literally came back from the worst injury ever. Like Kyrie.
Wait. We'll save that. I don't mean to cut you off, but we'll just save that Nets coverage right in a couple of minutes after this. But I definitely keep that passion going. And as we say, Sixers need a reboot. Obviously, Ben Simmons is gone, and we'll see how the draft lottery pans out and see if they will still compete even with getting rid of Ben Simmons. So with that, though, you can talk about the Jazz and how this somehow Cinderella team of the Utah Jazz are able to we could talk about how the Suns got rid of these guys, but how do we feel about the Jazz losing in 6? Who wants to start with this one?
Told you they couldn't stop Kawhi.
Mm-hmm. Number 1 seed going nowhere. Do we see them? Do they need a real revamp? Do they just need to try again next year with what they have? What does the Jazz have to do coming into 2021 to 2022.
Real quick. My special announcement is that I am no longer a Miami Heat fan. I am a Utah Jazz fan. Let's go. Donovan Mitchell.
Well,
all
congratulations.
day, representing Greenwich Country Day. Let's go. Donovan Mitchell.
Addicted to taking hot L's.
Mike Conley was hurt. They bullied Derek Favors.
Yep.
Rudy Gobert is literally a liability. Postseason.
When it matters.
Yeah. Exactly. Thanks, man. Yeah.
But look, what were we saying all year? Like
Rudy
these guys are overachievers in the regular season. Like, I'm not saying I can't buy into Donovan Mitchell moving forward, but I can't buy into them being a championship team. At a certain point, we just need to reset our expectations, right?
I will say that they don't need to get blown up, but put a little C4 on the walls. See what happens.
Okay, and do what? You know what would be funny if they ended up with Ben Simmons? That would be a fun.
Listen, I don't know what Bogdanovich is not going to come off the bench. Do you think he would?
If you're look, the pieces
Joe
that they have
already comes off the bench.
You have to decide. Like, you have to figure out what's movable. So they have to decide if they're going to re-sign Conley to whatever they're going to sign him to. I think he's probably going to get around 30 a year because of how long he's been in the league. Or you're going to try to flip Gobert. So who are you going to flip him to? Like, who's going to want him?
Depends on who you're going to pick up. Who are you going to pick up for the?
Well, the thing is, you have to figure out what you're going to move, because the issue is they don't have a wing stopper, which is what I said last pod. And you guys like, no, Royce O'Neal could stop Kawhi, and then Kawhi ate him, and then Paul George ate him, and then Terrence Mann ate him.
Terrence Mann.
Look, they fucked up in the draft too, because they took Azubuike instead of Bane. They took Azubuike instead of Jaden McDaniels, instead of who's the other one? Xavier Tillman. You need a two-way wing. And which two-way wing? The reason there's not a lot of them is like they're the most important player in the league is a two-way wing.
And they spend the most energy on both ends.
Yeah. So who are you going to get? Like, look, there's a chance Donovan Mitchell gets better. The dude is already really good.
Whoever got Halliburton was like really came up.
But to answer your question about the Conley contract, they're not going to re-sign him because he's got the same problem as Kyle Lowry. He's an aging, undersized point guard, and he's had injury history. It's just not going to happen.
But
I think Kyle Lowry's getting the bag.
Listen.
They're trying to get off his contract ASAP.
I would take Kyle Lowry right now over Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Even at 35 years old?
Fuck yeah. What are you talking about?
Because he's gonna be dog it. He's gonna be
a dog, and he can take the game.
He'll make immediate impact.
He's a pit bull, but he's completely irrelevant if Kawhi's not there. So I'm sorry.
He's got Donovan Mitchell.
One question I have regarding
you still need
this.
The wing though. Kyle Lowry doesn't solve their problem. Their problem is
exactly.
And who's the best wing available? Is it Otto Porter? Is Otto Porter the best? Who is the other wing available?
Porter? Oh, hell no.
Like, what other wing is available that you could consider being a two-way wing?
Okay. Ben Simmons, but Ben Simmons can't shoot threes. So who's going to teach Ben Simmons how to shoot threes? JJ Redick can do it.
No, the three-point shooting, it's not the defense on the three that I actually think that they have a problem that need to replace. I just think that this is who they are. They're a second-round exit. They're a great regular season team. And even if Donovan Mitchell, here's the thing, even if Donovan Mitchell takes the next step and he becomes like even more and more and more the guy, they're still going to be this kind of team. You
have to be able to go small.
Now, I have one question regarding this series.
Break the gap.
One major question is, this series ending in 6, was it a result of the Utah Jazz choking? Or are we underestimating the Clippers with PG-13, who somehow is turned into his old Indiana PG-13 before his major injury? He's really stepped up with his team. Or do we think he
didn't score in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was Terrence Mann and Reggie Jackson who suddenly has decided I'm going to be really good now.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently I think the other problem is if you're Gobert, you should be able to post up Luke Kennard.
That's a fact. What?
If you're going to be a big who's defensive, you have to have some, like, you have to be able to hurt the other team on the other side to make them go big, or you have to be able to be a fantastic defender. And Rudy Gobert is a good defender, but he can't hurt them on the other side to the point where going small is going to hurt your team. That's what it comes down to. He has to learn. Like the dude is 9.5 bajillion feet tall, and he can dunk without fucking jumping. Like, he should be able to hit a goddamn jump hook over a guy who's a foot shorter than him. Or like even like, I think he's a decent shooter, just like Poplar. You got to be able to, that's what it's going to be. I don't think they're going to make any moves. Because they don't, like, their issue is they don't have a wing who can help create and play defense, and they have no way to go small.
I know who I would take.
Who's that?
DeAndre Hunter.
But Atlanta's not trading DeAndre Hunter.
They won't.
You have to be realistic about it. Like, who do you really like? I don't know where their pick in the draft is going to be, but I'm not like that deep into this draft. Maybe they get lucky, but you have to realize like where this team is going to go is they need to have an option for when they go small. Because at this point, there's certain teams where the regular season is irrelevant. Brooklyn, the Lakers. Like, if you're considered a title contender, the regular season, unless you're like put together on the fly, is irrelevant for you. It's trying to figure out what works. So for a team like Utah that has hit the same wall for like 3 years in a row, they have to realize that they need to be able to go small or change how Rudy Gobert plays. Like, we give Ben Simmons a lot of shit for having not gotten any better, but Rudy Gobert is really good on defense, but his offense is stagnated as well.
Yeah,
like, he's not like an abject liability in the same way, but it's the same thing.
He's garbage on offense.
Yeah, really is. And
like,
talking about like garbage,
we have 19 rebounds and 10 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
well, trade him for Porzingis.
Dallas would take him.
Definitely, they need some help. Now, reflecting on another team that ended in a trash fashion, I won't call them trash, even though they got swept, but the Denver Nuggets, no Jamal Murray, of course. They get to play the Suns, and there was no contention. Made that guy a viral star, Suns in 4, whatever. Now, obviously, the team's going to be much better. They're going to get their big star back in the fall. But do we have anything to note with these Nuggets? And, as long as Jokic isn't fighting players like he did at the end or doing hard fouls, do we see them advancing with the return of Jamal Murray?
Yeah,
He'll be back.
I mean, look,
Yeah,
they were just too short. I think Porter was hurt as well. They said he was having some back issues. And look, Porter is basically played like a year and a half of like truly real basketball from between like the bubble and this year. So he's still super young, and he's going to get a whole year of being the number 2 option. And at some point, he's going to learn how to play defense. And then you'll have a full year of Aaron Gordon. Maybe Aaron Gordon will get better at some point. But like, look, it's really injuries. Like, they just didn't have their whole starting backcourt was taken out. I mean, when you're starting Campese, who is like a great like bench guy, but he's the same size I am. You're in for some. I mean, Austin Rivers wouldn't even be on that team if they don't have those injuries. It's an injury thing.
Yeah, it definitely is an injury thing. I think they have great team chemistry. I think they're really built foundationally strong. I just think they run it back. They come back healthy next year.
I feel that they're that team that Alex was talking about, the second round exit. Yeah.
Really? With the MVP?
I don't think that at all. Why? They were just in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Yeah, bring it back with Jamal Murray, man.
And now they're in the second one. Like,
with their whole
like
team hurt.
Yeah, okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Do you think they can do it again? All right, who'd they play last year?
They played Utah, and then they beat the Clippers.
Then they lost to the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
So what happens if they come across, like, I don't know, Lakers in round 1? Scary. Let's just say that. I don't know. Just random shit.
It doesn't matter who they play in the first round. I think they're built strong enough that they can compete every year from here on out.
And they're also super young. Jokic is like 26. Michael Porter Jr. is 22. Jamal Murray's around 25. They're all so young. And basically, other than Porter, they're all locked up.
And Jokic is healthy. 25.
I was going to say, if
Jokic is healthy,
I see 2 injury liabilities, and Jokic like has a problem with sustaining his health, like as far as
he just torched the league.
But
yeah, he just torched the league. But like towards the end of it, like he just turned the fuck up. Like before that, it was like where the hell was he at? And then all of a sudden, he just kind of boomed. So yeah, like I feel it, I get it, but like it was an aberration. I feel. Let's see him do it again next year.
I don't think so.
I
think they're for real. I think it's too easy a cop out to compare them to Utah.
Yeah, they're not. They're like legit. They're gonna be a team where they're gonna be fighting with like the Dallas Mavericks, and if whatever happens with Zion, whether he leaves.
Don't bring up the Mavericks. Don't bring up the Mavericks until they.
They're the teams built for the future. If you got the Lukas or the Jokic, that's like who's gonna be fighting. They're gonna be fighting each other for MVPs.
Luka's not going.
Luka definitely. Luka, I could definitely see fighting for MVPs.
Jokic just won it.
Jokic is gonna have a bag year next year. Let's count on that. Listen, I'll give you 50 cash if Jokic is in the fucking MVP in the top 5 MVP next year. Like
that 50K.
He'll be in top 5.
I'll put up the 100
on camera. That's recorded.
100K.
100K. 100 cash, bro. 100 cash, bro.
He'll be on the street by next March.
Yo, Dolor, what are your thoughts on how the Nuggets are moving forward from here?
I mean, for me, I really feel like I think we've seen, the impact that Jamal Murray makes, ever since he became, the player that he's become. I won't take this as my take. I won't take credit for it, but I did hear somebody on YouTube. Their take was to get Malcolm Brogdon. Tried to make some moves to get Malcolm Brogdon on the team. He adds a little bit of defense and could probably play pretty well with Jokic. I won't, like I said, I'm not going to take the credit for that take, but that sounds pretty decent to me. That sounds pretty good.
Malcolm Brogdon was a good pickup for any team.
He left because of money. So
yeah, when in doubt, you always pick Eric Bledsoe over.
At a certain point, I know me and Bars talked about it a couple episodes ago, but I think they're really missing with Aaron Gordon being in there and flopping like a fish. I think they really miss Jeremy Grant more than they want.
Yeah.
He was solid last playoff run.
But that's why I feel like they're not gonna do as good. Like they're like it's just. But
if that's their only problem, then what's the problem?
Well, they
have some guys that are prone for injury. Michael Porter Jr., who didn't play his whole first season, if I'm correct, because of injury, and then.
But if they went deep in the playoffs last year, and that's because of the condensed season, can we chalk up the injuries to that?
That's why Murray got hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
They also only went to the conference final in the bubble, so can we count that too?
Yeah, but we saw them get
We
better.
can't keep discrediting that because then we can say that Miami was faulty too.
I bet. No, I just wanted to see what because everyone gives Miami
it's different. Like you can compare it to how a team changed the year after. Like Miami didn't because look, you can clearly see that when a team loses, how many teams survive losing their starting backcourt? None of them.
Okay, so then we're just gonna come back to the whole topic that Matt led with, right? And we're gonna use the word that I've used the entire time: attrition.
Well, yeah, that was what this whole year and a half has been a weird year.
I just want to add that Bars have been using that word for like a month now. It's a decent word. I like that. That is it's a decent word to add to the vocabulary.
It's like spark plug.
Yeah, right. Like
right.
Like just keep matriculating. Just
I dig it.
Terrence Mann, spark plug.
I
dig it indeed. Listen, guys, I want you to put your passion out for this next topic.
Bars, you smoking Nuggets pack, aren't you? That's that Nuggets pack. I know. Oh, you smoking the veil. Okay, you getting nasty.
All right, yes.
Damn candy pens.
Hey,
it's great.
Can't
exactly.
do the pens no more, man. I can't.
Now let's let that passion out there, and let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets. First things first. To let it all to think, we have to talk about Game 7 on Saturday night. If you're not a Nets fan, that was a classic. True classic. So many on the line. KD's foot on the line to tie the game.
No, it really was a good game.
Then
that was the best game I've seen in the playoffs.
Then you have overtime where only 8 points are scored between the two teams, and 6 of them are from the Bucks. Nets only scored 2.
And wait, I got a really good take. before Brook Lopez blocked that shot on KD, he was trying to throw the game.
You think who tried to flip the game?
Brook Lopez.
Brook Lopez.
He was trying to get his batter hung. He was trying to get his jersey go. Look, you cannot tell me coming out of a timeout that you catch the ball and panic in the corner. That's some like J.R. Smith, like literally with like somebody. Middleton was doing this. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is not J.R. catching a rebound, not understanding what the score is. This is after a timeout, knowing there's 2.1 seconds on the clock. He caught it in the corner and he just held it. And then he comes crashing in for a layup. Giannis hits him and he fumbles it. I'm telling you, before he blocked that shot, he was throwing that game.
Yo. No fouls were called the entire overtime.
Oh, yeah. He got hacked.
Oh, a lot of people had a problem with how it was officiated, too.
It was officiated like trash, bro. KD at some point started taking logo threes. I was like, wait, he does this now? Like, KD, it wasn't even hot. He was like lukewarm going in to the missing. No, not hitting that 3-point ruined his whole confidence going into overtime. So he was like probably like 10th, like 0 for 10. Like, I'm exaggerating, probably hyperbole, but he was definitely 0 for 5.
I mean,
bro.
speaking not hot, like I mean, that man Drew Holiday at one point was like 2 for 17.
Yeah, he was not a good game.
Yo,
they gave defensively too,
man,
and he did hold
really
KD down.
That team.
I mean, look. The only reason this series is close after Kyrie goes down is because Budenholzer is the coach. That's a fact.
Do you think his job is saved after winning this game?
Yeah, according to reporting today that I saw, because of it, they're considered keeping him. But if I look, Budenholzer, they're considered keeping him.
I wouldn't keep nigga.
I wouldn't keep him either. I would throw whatever money Rick Carlson wants to go get Rick Carlson.
Like, I'd be like, yo, my guy, bounce, because you've been doing this Giannis thing for too long, and it just hasn't been working for you. And I noticed that you can't secure any like the people that you wanted to get. So like, yo, Bogdanovich would have been a great pickup for them niggas. I'll take Drew Holiday, but I would have took Drew Holiday and Bogdanovich.
Well, they couldn't have done both because they had the pieces. Well, actually, they might have, because he was a sign-in trade, so I don't know how that would have worked. Because I don't remember what the details of the Bogdanovich thing were. That might have just been money. But look, no, the thing really came down to health. Like, clearly, first off, I don't know how many of you do this. I forgot how much I hate watching James Harden play. I think it was exaggerated because the dude can't move. But that man spent so much time on the floor. Like, I play with a guy who jumps forward and calls like bullshit fouls, but that's like not even like. That's James Harden's whole. It was unbelievable watching.
Yeah, Harden had 52 minutes in the whole game.
The fact that I say Harden's injury was bullshit. My fault to interrupt you.
Lazy, fat, lazy.
I can make it even more simple for you guys. When Chris Middleton went over 22 points, they're 4-0. That's it.
That's that 22 points.
Look, they got
4-0 when he goes for 22 or more.
He's got a good point.
Because think about in all seriousness, if you think about Giannis and KD basically cancel each other out, who's the next guy?
It's Chris, and he's the reason why they won Game 6 as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was injuries. Look, injuries are why the Nets didn't win. And it's more the injuries, and they wore down KD because after Kyrie went down, they just threw everything they had at KD.
Kyrie's always going down. Kyrie's always going down.
So that one was a freak.
Let's stop counting.
All right, but like if you think about it, look, Kyrie's hit the most clutch shot in the last decade or last 5 years in the playoffs.
Kyrie?
Yeah, it's either him hitting that shot or the Ray Allen 3 that I can think of as the most clutch shot in the last couple of years.
That only buys you so much time though, because the same thing about. Because think about it this way, we said the same thing about, I know this is apples to oranges, but we said the same thing about Danny Ainge with that Brooklyn trade, and it only bought him so many picks. So
yeah, but like, look, it's not like anyone's not going to make the Kyrie trade. He got that team had a lot of problems, and this year it was a freak accident. He landed on Giannis's foot. James Harden, if Kyrie doesn't go down, James Harden doesn't come back.
Mm-hmm. Which is suspect.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
That's what it was. They know what their issues are. Their issues are Joe Harris is historically a bad performer in the playoffs.
Missed that huge three. Brick did that would have given him a 5-point lead in the playoffs.
Let me sum it up.
In the overtime.
Let me sum it up. Brooklyn's trash.
Nah, man, you're just gonna be mad when they go like 16-3 next year.
The thing though,
I don't know about
the whole year, people that were studying and watching the game like us, we were saying that they had serious liabilities. Like they couldn't play defense, and if they weren't outscoring people, they weren't beating people. So that's exactly what happened in this series. As soon as Drew Holiday started attacking the basket, they were getting the rim at will. They couldn't.
I said this. I said
that's a good point. They're not taking games to like
they're
120 points.
Yeah, but their offense, it wasn't at full, like even at full strength, it would have made a difference. Like with the way Blake was playing, and the Bucks were, Giannis will take way too many threes, man. That shit, I can't believe they won with him taking all those threes.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, that's a coaching thing. You gotta be talking to way more about that. And then look, like Brooklyn it's injuries. That's all it came, like that's what it came down to. It was, if they weren't hurt, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. They would have swept them.
I don't think so. I don't think so. 7 either way.
I
agree with you, David.
That's a fact.
No, they blew them out the first 2 games when they were healthy, and then they squeaked by game 3 where Brooklyn blew out Milwaukee.
Yeah,
the first 2 games.
They held serve at home, but Milwaukee did the same thing.
Exactly.
So okay, the game 4 was when Kyrie got hurt, and game 3 was like the ugliest game of the series.
And in the regular season, Milwaukee spanked them.
Okay.
So.
Yeah,
and Chris Middleton does have a history of stepping it up when it needs to be done.
Yeah, look, Brooklyn has a lot of things. They have the Dinwiddie signing trade
of doing enough to beat him
for Kyle Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
They got to figure out what to do with Joe Harris, and they need a big man. So I mean, they got some but as long as you have KD, Kyrie, and Harden, your ceiling is at least the second round, if not the Eastern Conference Finals, just on the fact that you have the 3 of them. And if they're healthy,
I disagree.
I think I saw Joe Harris's jersey get burnt too.
He's been bad in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he looks like your high school chemistry teacher.
I'm tired of them, bro.
Oh God, yo.
Tired of these niggas, bro.
Yo, let me ask one question with this subject. All right, we all know about KD's big shot. We all know about him putting the team on his back, and then that cringy air ball, which would have also been just tied the game. That would have been a 2.
That was pretty bad.
Despite that, I think media really has given KD a pass, saying about him running out of gas and stuff. Even though some say that if this was LeBron, they would just blame this LeBron. Like, if you're good enough, LeBron, you stink, whatever.
Yeah.
Do we care about like KD's legacy? Are we giving him a pass for as far as he went? Or are we just gonna say, hey man, if you were one of the greats, you would have somehow pulled through? Obviously, KD's top 15 all time, but losing this game, he might have winning this game could have been top 5 arguably. How do we feel about KD's legacy long term after this game? What do you say, Bach?
I don't think there's any impact. Although I do have a question, and I don't know who has this. Would be something I would have to look up at Second Spectrum. What the fuck is Bruce Brown's percentage for floaters? Because every time I saw him take one, he made it. Like, it's not me.
Bruce Brown is a monster for some strange reason out of nowhere.
He scored 77 field goal percentage in game 7. 77.
Well, yeah, like, first off, look, KD played every minute of game 6. He played every minute basically of, I think, game 7 as well in the overtime. The dude gave like games. What was it? Game 6. He put up. He had with the game he had 49. So that the game he triple doubled was the first time in NBA history somebody had a 40, 15, 10 where they scored above 43 points, and he did it on 16 of 23 shooting. Like. Mm-hmm. He did it on fucking 70%. Like, you can't comprehend somebody being able to do that. Like, that is his signature game. And look, I don't think this hurts his legacy. I think, they lost barely to a team that should have run them over after their players got hurt. And if you'd swapped, look, there's like 4 coaches I can think of off the top of my head. If you swap Bud with, Milwaukee wins that in 6. And one of them is available.
Yo, peep game. Peep game. I agree with Batch. I don't think it hurts KD's reputation at all. I think if Giannis loses that game, he takes a bigger hit than KD does. Definitely. Like I said, KD's got what, 2 of those? He's got the hardware. You know what I'm saying? So, and KD's not named LeBron James. If you're not named LeBron James, no, you're like, to be honest, your career doesn't take any hit from losing. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, you're just like,
Doesn't
you're like,
take that
honestly,
much of a hit.
nah, not at all. It's like All Might to Endeavor. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like legit. Like the power scale, the power scaling is just too off. Like the difference is vast. I don't know. Apple, like it's just, I don't know. Like, I mean, at the same time, KD, like you said, KD is like top 15. I say KD will be top 5 by the end of his career. Definitely. I don't definitely see, like, you know what I'm saying? You got to look at KD's shooting percentage, and you got to look at player efficiency rating. You got to look at, like, when you look at like basketball, break down stats altogether, there's probably no better player to add to a team than Kevin Durant.
Is literally like the ultimate weapon.
Like he adds defense, offense on every facet. Like he can give you rebounds offensively, defensively. He can give you 3-point shooting, 2-point shooting, 1-point shooting. Like you line that shit. Like, let's talk about it. Kevin Durant.
Like, how many? Like, think about this. If you're taking the last shot and it's KD, there's what, 4 players in the league maybe you trust to stop him?
Yeah. So put Kevin Durant and LeBron James as, like, switch them literally. And we literally have someone who actually might, take Jordan on. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally switch their whole careers. Put KD with 4 rings. You know what I'm saying? With the coming out of high school, like, I'm telling you, like, KD's like, it's 1A and 1B, but 1B will never be as under the spotlight as 1A is, and 1A is obviously LeBron right now. So if your name isn't LeBron, you don't take no hits from losing right now, to be honest.
No, there's guys who took hits from this.
Nobody was talking about Steph Curry, and Steph Curry got more rings than KD. And Steph Curry's going to be top 5. And we're not talking about if Steph Curry took a hit for not being in the playoffs.
His team was dog shit this year, and they didn't have Clay, so they built an excuse.
Steph Curry was balling.
But we still not talking about him. But when LeBron has a dog shit team, we talk about him though. Yeah, you feel it?
Yeah, it's a different type of player. Like, you build different types of teams around them. It's not a comparison.
LeBron James, you don't take a hit from losing right now.
Yeah, it's all about the expectations at the end of the day. And like I said, KD enhances legacy one way or the other, even if it's just about respect, giving it his all. And I'm sure he will not take it for granted. Well, I'm sorry. Last what you were saying?
Nah, fuck it.
You sure? No.
I'm just not sure about that LeBron and Curry comparison right there. But
many rings?
He made a good point.
How many? So when Steph Curry
comparison.
So when Steph Curry came in the league, how many times did they compare him to Jordan?
It's a different type of. Never. Well, he wasn't expecting.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So
that might add.
You're not in that conversation with Jordan. If they're not talking about seeing you at the table with Kareem, like, then you not losing no hits on your career. Period. Like, so KD takes no losses. If anything, this bolstered his career because it showed that yes, he can carry a team almost like LeBron. He just scored a
triple. One night. He can't carry a team like LeBron.
Yeah, we've never seen it. I never
thought I'd see the day when I was actually defending LeBron on public media content. But I mean, seriously, like, just because he carries him for one game doesn't mean that he's LeBron.
Yeah, he should have different. You build different type of teams.
He should have did that game 7. He should have did that. He should have balled out one game 6 and then did that game 7.
He should have. He could have. He should have.
Hey, but he didn't.
But he didn't. Exactly.
He threw the towel in on that one. Like,
it is what it is at some point. You're good. Well, let's talk about the team that made it. The Bucks did. And by the way, Bach, you were right. But actually, it is tomorrow, Wednesday, June 23rd is game 1. The Milwaukee Bucks versus the Atlanta Hawks. How about this? Let's say
the finals.
Who's going to the finals out of this team? We'll start off with that broad question.
The Hawks.
The Hawks. Is this now? Do we say the Hawks, the Cinderella story, starting the season 10-18? Nate McMillan joins. and they knock out the Knicks in that hostile environment. They knock out the Sixers in the hostile environment. Are they on the ultimate Cinderella story when you have your Capellas and your obviously Trey, John Collins, Bogdanovich, Daniel Gallinari, all that? Are we witnessing one of the greatest runs ever? Could we see the Atlanta Hawks win the East? Who wants to start with it? We'll start with Bars. What's up?
Please. Real quick, off topic. Utah should pick up Gallinari. I always, like I said, I've been saying this, like, it's Utah. Utah's going to the finals, man. Just leave it alone. No one's out shooting Trey. They've got decent pieces that may not drop 25 a night, but play enough for Trey to win them the game. Pella is surprising as a big man, does enough. Dude, like, I don't know. Atlanta, that's all I got. Atlanta, do they beat Phoenix? No, but Atlanta.
What do you have to say, Bach, about you say that
it's going to be Milwaukee? Like,
okay, you say Milwaukee.
The in order to get to where we are, where we're talking about Atlanta, they had to have one epic comeback and one epic collapse against a team that was fatally flawed. This Bucks team is the most complete team that they've playing against, and it's the only team without a with a superstar. And that while his flaws are obvious, he actually has a supporting cast that fits him better. Look, the Knicks overachieved all season. I said this multiple times to every Knicks fan I spoke to. Julius Randle overachieved every single time. The Sixers have really they had nothing outside of Embiid. The Bucks are a different animal. They don't have the wings in this series to block the Bucks. You're gonna hope what? You're gonna put Capella on Giannis?
Yo, I disagree.
He's gonna just run right through him.
Yeah, I disagree.
They're gonna hunt Trey Young in every single pick and roll. That's exact. And they have 4 different guys who could post up. I mean, other than Bryn Forbes, I don't think there's a player on Milwaukee's roster who can't post up Trey Young. They're gonna envelop him, and you're not gonna get. Look, Kevin Huerter went off because he hunted Seth Curry. There's nobody on Milwaukee's roster. Like, they're not going to be playing Bryn Forbes in crunch time. He's not going to get the same shots, and they have a better shaped roster than Philly did. And I think, look, they're hyped up. I think they're going to the finals. I don't know if they're going to win, but I think they're going.
Yo, dude, I disagree. I'm sorry. I have to disagree. Like basically, like, all right, let's look at Philadelphia. Let's look at Bucks, right? The 2 stars, Giannis and Embiid. Who's outside of that, right? You got Chris Middleton next, right? And it was supposed to be Ben Simmons, but let's slide Tobias Harris up. Let's give him a promotion, right? And then who you got after that?
Drew Holiday and Seth Curry.
Seth Curry, right? Who you got after that?
I mean, Milwaukee's still a better team than Philly.
I doubt it. I feel like they're pretty much even, and that's what.
No way.
What?
Bars. Milwaukee's a far more balanced team. I think they're ready to go to the finals. I just think that they got exposed a little bit last round. They had some scares and stuff through the 7 games with Brooklyn, but I just think that they've learned enough from that experience. And I think that, like, look, I have Milwaukee going to the finals, but I would be remiss to not say that I'm not nervous about these matchups, because I think if you get Trey and Capella in a pick and roll, they're really thin up front with Brook Lopez. After Brook Lopez, they don't have any bigs.
Anyhow, the Bucks take the first 2 games, I'll be remiss to say I wouldn't be worried. I'll tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying? But I'll say this: anybody on Milwaukee, anybody on Atlanta can shoot the lights out. They've
had cold nights though. They've had cold nights.
Yeah, Trey was just cold.
Right. Like, Kevin live and die by the 3.
You're right. You live. Yes, that's correct.
Trey got to be getting tired right now.
But at any point, Bogdanovich can take it to the paint. Gallinari can take it to the paint.
So can Giannis, Drew, and Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
At a better clip too.
And they have the size advantage. They'll always, like, Milwaukee is always going to have a size advantage because Trey is shorter than I am.
Yo, that's a fact. That's a fact. And nobody.
And that's going to make a huge difference because he in a crunch time position, they're gonna bring his man into every single pick and roll with Chris Middleton, every single one, and they're gonna drag Capella away with Brook Lopez.
I think they're gonna pass the ball around enough. They're gonna. All right. Does anyone remember what Miami did last year? The way they passed that ball around until they got that shit. So they got that. So they only took shots when it was like, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they need.
Yeah, but it was a different Bucks team. Their defense is better now. Drew makes a massive difference.
The whole team's better.
Listen, you're right. Drew does make a difference. Let's see how it goes.
And they have PJ now. I don't know who he's going to be tackling, but
that's a fact. That's a fact. But let's see. Let's see if he becomes a liability.
And they'll switch him for Pat Connaughton.
Yeah.
Look, this is something I also don't understand. You telling me Thanasis couldn't get more burn? Like, is he that bad? like he's legitimately long. At the very least, he can give you like 5 minutes of defense, and he can chuck up the same fucking threes that the Pat Connaughton did.
It's the same reason why Giannis' little brother and the Lakers don't get no PT.
That one I think is bad.
But no, the key for me for the series is can Drew Holiday be aggressive going to the basket? Like that's what it comes down to. Because
if he's in
my opinion, as soon as Kyrie went down with that injury, the only thing that was waiting to unlock Milwaukee from taking that series over was him going to the basket. He was taking threes that he had no business taking.
Who does Trey guard? Who does Trey guard on defense?
He's not that Drew Holiday anymore.
Well, he showed it last series. He went as soon as he started going to the basket, he was fine.
Yeah, he's still strong as shit. Like he's still gonna body.
He averaged 15, 5, and 6 for the series. I mean, that's pretty nice.
He's gonna bully Trey.
And that's gonna be a problem.
He can't give Trey any room too, because he will just get that field goal in.
I see Game 7.
Look, Trey is a matchup that I think they can even hide Bryn Forbes on. Like they can bring Bryn Forbes on and not worry about being stuck in the pick and roll. Like that's a problem. Like who does Trey guard?
Guard anybody. They're gonna have to zone it up.
Yeah.
Well, but I will give credit to Atlanta too. I think that they have the favorable coaching matchup too. Because if it gets situational and they have to make switches between games, I think Nate McMillan I'd have faith in. And
they do. Their bench is a little bit deeper. The way they will have bringing Gallo and Lou Will. I mean, them not look. Let's be clear. This Atlanta team is going to be up there for the next couple of years because they're all super young.
They're all young.
I mean. They're two best like wing guys. I just heard like DeAndre Hunter had a good year before he got hurt. Cam Reddish is something.
Where is Cam Reddish?
He's hurt.
Carmen Sandiego. Where's Waldo? All these like Sly Cooper. I need somebody to fight to stay from because like he's John right now.
I think if Bogey was healthy too, they'd be a little more aggressive.
Oh yeah, isn't what's his face hurt?
Bogey's day right now.
Yeah, so I mean that's. And look, Gallo can hit threes, but the dude is fat.
Yeah,
the dude is big ass. He can't move all that much.
He needs to take a page out of Jokic's book and drop a couple pounds. Like,
I mean, look, this is a good Hawks team that has got a lot of like experience under its belt, but I don't think they match up well against this Milwaukee's team. I mean, they could not have had it like an easier, huh?
Rack out.
They could not have had an easier look. They had the easiest first round matchup they could have hoped for. They were against a team that had some truly fatal flaws and that they matched up kind of well against, other than Embiid. And then this Bucks team is different. And I'm sure people are going to overreact if at some point maybe Atlanta wins game 1, but I think Milwaukee is like. They're pumped now because they can see it. They like at some level, they have to know that there's not going to be a better shot at them winning this title.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a sense of urgency for them.
And I think that, if you're not going to get 27, 7 and 3 from Herter again, or you're not going to get 19 and 11 from John Collins at game 4, then what are we really talking about here? If you don't have a second guy, how are you going to threaten Milwaukee?
It's not possible. And
what are they going to do if they put Giannis on Trey? Does Trey come up to his fucking kneecaps?
We can see how flexible he can go.
Put the ball through his legs and take it to the paint.
That's gonna be like that Sports Illustrated cover with Aaron Boykin next to Yao Ming.
We with
Trey,
that.
Trey been putting the ball through people's legs since he started the league, bro. So
Trey's handle is really loose, man.
Big.
I think Trey's gonna have double-digit turnovers in the first game.
I don't think so. Let's get it popping. Let's go.
So to wrap this up with the Eastern Conference, I'm gonna ask. Tell me where the matchup's gonna lie. Like I say that the Bucks are actually gonna win in 6. What do you say, Bach?
I think 6 sounds about right. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5. I think 5 is probably more likely.
Bucks in 6. What about you, Dolo?
I would say I was gonna say Bucks in 7, but it really depends. Like, like if the Bucks are if they're really here to play, it might be 5. It might be Bucks in 5, but it's a hell of a series. I'm looking forward to it, but I think Bucks, and I'd say Bucks in 7.
Hear that? What do you say, Bars?
Hawks in 7.
Hawks in 7. And you think it's going deep because
I think it's going deep because of the matchup issues. You guys are right about what you said. You know what I'm saying? They're bigger, but I don't believe that they're better. And I do believe that those aberration games that we're talking about can happen. Like Kevin Durant snap for like 30 points. Like DeAndre Hunter could just lock somebody up. Like Chris Middleton can't move. He's not playing?
DeAndre Hunter's been out the whole play.
Sorry,
DeAndre's been out.
And so is
Gallinari could go snap, lock down Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying? Like if it happens. Like, I don't know. Like what it is both teams are tough. Fairly young. So it's gonna be a great matchup. Giannis is an aberration, but so is Trey.
Gonna eat. Giannis is gonna eat.
Giannis is not an aberration. He's a 2-time MVP.
He is an aberration. We ain't never seen something like that again.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but aberration means like it's just like a flash in the pan. He'll be here.
Oh, is that what that means? I always thought that was like, all right, word. So
it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
He's an anomaly, right? But I don't feel like he's I don't think he's gonna make the push to do it. Like, Giannis is gonna be one of those players that got the fucking medals and the glitz and glamour, but don't got the highlight. Like, he got the highlights, but he don't got the trophies. Like, when it really matters. Like, he got some trophies, but he don't got the real ones. And I don't feel like he's gonna do it this year. I just feel, honestly, to be honest,
I think he has a better supporting cast.
If you're asking me, he needs a better supporting cast. That's it. He's one piece away from winning the championship. He ain't got it yet.
He's ready. I got Milwaukee in 6.
All right. And do you have anything else to add on for that as a rebuttal to the Bars with the different take, Alex, or any of you three?
I just think that if Drew Holiday stays aggressive, I think he's the X factor in taking them over the top. I think Giannis is ready. I think that they don't have an answer for him in the paint.
Solid points all right there. So now let's focus on the Western Conference Finals. At this moment, the Phoenix Suns are leading the Los Angeles Clippers 1-0. They play game 2 tonight at the time of this release of this episode. Now, a lot of people excited about the Suns. The Clippers also making a deep run with their major injuries, losing their ultimate factor in Kawhi Leonard. But are they making a fight and trying to win the West despite that? Where do we see this series going? Who wants to say where things are going to go regarding the Clippers and the Suns? CP3 is also expected to come back at game 2 and going out of COVID protocol. Keep that in mind as well. Is Devin Booker going to go off and show why that he stole Kendall Jenner away from Ben Simmons? Another L for him. What's going to happen in this matchup? By the way, Kylie Jenner, I mean. I get those two confused.
Same snowflake.
Literally, right?
Yeah.
Where do we see this series going? Who wants to start?
Suns in 5.
You say Suns in 5, Bach? Why is that?
I don't think Kawhi's not coming back. We're gonna find out after game 2 he's got like an ACL tear or something, because that's what they were talking about originally. They think it's an ACL injury.
That's really bad. That's football
And look,
injuries. The
game one where they blitz Booker and he still dropped 40 on them without CP3 is going to be a problem. I mean, Ty Lue has done a good job of, knowing who he can go to, but this Suns team is more complete. They're just, they're better rounded. I don't trust the Clippers without Kawhi.
Like, I think Way Off P is going to come back. Way Off P is going to make a return.
I think he's tired. And who's their second best player?
From being Way Off
Reggie
P.
Jackson.
What? That's why they
best player.
Listen, peep game. I believe I agree with Batch. They're not doing it without Kawhi. I don't trust them without Kawhi. Paul George isn't strong enough anymore. Too many injuries in his past. Rotator cuffs, broken legs. Reggie Jackson is a good offensive player, but I feel like they can shut that shit down. You know what I'm saying? And unless he's about to live and die by the three, I don't think they're gonna be Pat Beverly. Okay. What do they got after that? Zubac? No. So big game. What happened? What happened to Blocker? Okay.
Who?
So yeah.
What about Boogie Cousins?
That didn't help much.
So let's
I mean, look, this is the first team that the Clippers have played where they can't downsize to match them, where they can downsize. Like the Mavericks had no answer when they downsized. The Jazz had no answer when they downsized. If the Suns, first off, the Suns can actually throw it to DeAndre and he's going to actually score if they need him to. And if they need to downsize, they can do that. They have the wings to slide somebody down a position. Yeah. So this is not a team that's going to be phased by the different shape shifting that the Clippers can do. And they actually have a wing who can kind of match up even if Kawhi came back.
I got two. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So just wrapping up, if I was a betting man, I'd go for Suns in 5. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But to be honest, I say get the fucking broom out.
So I got Suns in 6, but I got 2 keys to how the Clippers are going to stay in this. If Phoenix starts turning the ball over and starts playing this transition game, they're going to be jacking up threes. They're going to stay in this because we saw that yesterday when we thought that Phoenix had the lead to close the game out. They just let them right back in. So Phoenix definitely has to take care of the ball. And if Clippers can run in transition, they're gonna make them work. So I think that they need to Phoenix needs to keep it clean, and it depends on if who's going to be the second guy out of the second unit for Phoenix to really take the next step, because I don't know if Cameron Payne's that guy. I mean, he was 7-2-2 last round. It's like, okay. And
yeah, but how is he good when he actually needed to step up? And also, like, for the transition stuff, if CP3 comes back, they're not going to be running out in the same type of transition. Like, it's a different type of game.
But my point being is that the Clippers, their strength is their second unit. That's what I meant.
In their second unit.
So they can outscore Phoenix's second unit to keep them in the series, but I still think Phoenix will prevail in 6.
Yeah, I say 4. But yeah, let's do it.
All right, what do you have to say, Dolor, with this? And where do you see the going down, the breakdown in the series?
Well, I would have said Suns, and I really just think Way Off P is going to make a return in incredible fashion. I really do see the Suns getting it done. I wouldn't say game 7, and I wouldn't say sweep, but yeah, I'd say game 5 or 6. I think 6 sounds more along the lines of what Alex was saying. I think that sounds more reasonable. I just think that, like without Kawhi, we're really gonna see what's gonna happen. And I'm actually really personally rooting for Chris Paul. Hopefully he comes back in, and with Chris Paul in there, he's gonna make the impact that's gonna make all the difference. And Kawhi makes the impact on his team in particular, but I think Chris Paul got the mind. He brings the mind to the game, and I think they're gonna get it done.
Think he's gonna be hyper motivated to be the Clippers?
Hey, yo,
don't forget
we were so close to Chris Paul beating the Clippers to play Blake Griffin in the finals.
To be honest, He got COVID, right? But he was vaccinated.
Yeah. They expect him to come back for game 2 tonight.
They just made him go through protocol. He didn't get COVID.
Oh,
true. To be fair,
it wasn't a breakthrough. Like I don't know what the story was.
Yeah, me either. I just they said
because he's vaccinated, so it would have been a breakthrough infection. In which case, it would have been a mild infection at worst, because that's what the vaccine does.
Right. Yeah, so he wouldn't be too drained or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like there would be some still effect if that was the case. But if he's not affected, if he's unaffected, then I really see and he comes back in game 2. How could you not see the sweep, man? I don't know. Chris Paul's thirstier than Reggie and Pat Bev and playoff P. He needs a new name. It should be I can't shoot anymore, P. I don't know.
Just that the turnover game concerns me though for Phoenix. If these guys aren't playing in the half court set, I think if the Clippers can get out and run and shoot threes at a high clip, I think they're going to stay right in this. That's why I see it going 6.
If Ty Lue can find a way to properly shut down their offense, then yeah.
Because here's the thing. Even if your reasoning for Atlanta getting over the hump and beating Milwaukee is because it's all left up to mystery in terms of the game plan, you don't know who the second guy is, then why can't you make the same argument for the Clippers? Because we don't know who the second guy is, so it's hard to scheme for them.
It ain't gonna be Terrence Mann's aberration.
I think it's less that it's hard to scheme for them. It's more that they don't have somebody you can trust. And look, similar to Atlanta, the Clippers are facing a team that's better suited and more complete than they've been. At this point, Milwaukee and Phoenix are the 2 most complete teams in the playoffs. These teams haven't faced somebody like that. And Atlanta has a better shot than the Clippers do because they're not down their best player.
Yeah.
One word: attrition.
Well, that's what Phoenix hasn't faced in any of it.
That really is the theme of this entire
Loud and proud, bars.
Always fun with that. So the last thing to wrap this up for this episode today that we haven't said already, but just tell me combined where you see who's winning the West and who's winning the East of who's remaining here. I believe, I did say the Suns winning the West in the first podcast here, even though I said the Knicks won in the East, and now I look stupid, but that's just the Knicks fandom in me. So I do think the Suns are getting it, and I think the Bucks, and I think those are some compelling matchups with the Stars and 2 franchises starring for a championship. And I think even with their not as big markets as others, I think it'll be a good series to unfold and watch. Dolor, what do you think? Who's winning of these 4 teams? Who's winning the East and who's winning the West?
Well, I think I definitely see a Bucks and Suns. I definitely see that going down. The Bucks and Suns, man. As far as are we doing finals predictions or just?
Yeah, tell me where you think. You could also tell me if you want where the breakdown's gonna be.
Shoot. Yeah, like I said, respectively, I definitely think it's gonna be a Bucks and Suns finals. And if it comes to that, I see the Suns taking it. I really see the Suns taking it if it comes down to that. But when it's coming out of my mouth, it just sounds kind of wild. That's like the situation that we're looking forward to. But like I said, man, I just see, like I said, Chris Paul is the mind. He brings the mind to the game. I'm not sure if the Bucks can really handle what they've been doing all year. Really, Devin Booker, they're already comparing him to Kobe. But I feel like they've been comparing him to Kobe for a little while. But yeah, those comparisons are coming out more. I think it's Booker's time, man. I think the Suns got it. I think they're gonna take it this year.
All right. Where do you see this going, Bach?
Suns, Bucks. And look, I'm torn because I do want CP3 to win a ring, but I don't know if this. Maybe it's because Devin Booker's so tan that it throws me off about him. But I don't know. I think I don't have an answer who's going to win the finals, but I think it's going to 7.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll leave it at that, and we'll see if it comes we'll see where it comes when we talk about obviously right after the 4th, before when this finals tip off on July 8th. But where do you see Bars? Where do we see this all unfolding?
I see this all unfolding. Like I said, I'm gonna hold down my prediction. Hawks Suns. And to be honest, I had Suns in fucking 6.
Okay.
But Trey's been surprising me lately.
That'd be something else if he could get that team in the way.
If he gets that done, that's incredible.
At 22 years old, man.
But I'm gonna rock out with Suns in 6. Yeah. I don't think Trey Young is small. Chris Paul is taller than Trey, but he's also, a pretty small guard, or a decent sized guard. He also likes to shoot crazy threes. Not as he won't take as many shots as Trey, obviously, but he's obviously surrounded with Devin Booker. Trey doesn't really have a solid go-to guy after that. Chris Paul's also pretty much good for the pick and roll. It'd be a pretty evenly matched team. Even if it went Suns Bucks, I'd have to go like Suns in 6. You know what I'm saying? I think they have the size to stop Giannis, but
yep.
I'm sticking with my prediction with Hawks and Suns in 6.
I hear you. Wrap this up for us, Alex. Where do you see this going?
Suns, Bucks, and I got Suns in 6. But I want to ask you guys real quick, just entertain me for 2 seconds. Did you guys know that Atlanta, if you go back to the Luka draft, they could have had him and Trey Young in the same draft?
They could have had them both, but how? I
know
they
had 2 picks in the first round, and they were both available.
And I know they traded Luka for Trey. But how could they have got Trey the other way?
No, they could have sat and got Luka later in the round.
So they should have got Trey. They should have got Trey and then waited for Luka.
Originally, they drafted Luka.
They drafted Luka first.
Sorry.
But they could have sat and got Luka, is what I'm saying.
But Trey went. I don't think they could have gone. I don't think Luka or
Trey, had they been there, would have made it past Orlando.
I think Luka would have got bagged up too. I don't think.
That's the one thing. These European players that are hard to.
For real.
Hard to evaluate.
They took Bamba because there was no other options.
They sought him for a reason. They literally sought him for a reason.
Mo Bamba has a great song named after him.
So we got off track. Oh, bad. That's my fault. But I got Phoenix in 6, Phoenix, Milwaukee in the finals.
All right. I think that would be a lot of fun with that. But my great friends, thank you so much for breaking this down with me. Do we have any final thoughts before we sign off for good?
Yeah, man.
All right. Don't forget to check out Fresh Faces New Ideas. Where can we find that, Bach?
You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Fresh Faces New Ideas. I stream
1 p.m. Eastern time. I do politics every day of the week. And then on the weekends, I do games. We were playing Celeste, King of Magistrate this weekend. And then you can find me Fresh Faces New Ideas on YouTube and at Twitter at Faces Ideas.
All right. How about you, Alex? How's Going Places Artist Collective? Where can we see what you're up to?
Doing good. We're doing good. Check us out on Instagram. We got new artist spotlights every week, and we got new opportunities and events coming up every month. Excellent.
And Dolor and Bars, how are we looking with the Word for Word podcast? And where can we find your archive material?
We still on a hiatus right now, but you can find us on Word for Word podcast channel on YouTube. You can find some of our hilarious content produced by Dolor on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. At what is it? At Dub for Dub. So let's get it popping.
All right. And Dolor, where can we find your Dolor Reacts video? And where you're gonna, what do you have cooking up for us?
Well, same as usual. Same as always. I got a channel on YouTube called Dolor Reacts, where I just react to really a lot of social media stuff. React to new music. Right now the channel's a little dormant, but we're coming back. We're gonna make a resurgence. Definitely want to start doing gameplay. But yeah, we got some things cooking up. Another podcast cooking up. A lot more collabs from me and Bars in the future. Yeah, and a lot of potential collabs for the Productive Conversations podcast as well.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
we're
I got
looking
you.
forward. Well, we're looking forward to that. That's David Bach, Alex Ranniello, Dolor, and Bars the God. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you when the finals tip off in the first
go,
week of
boys.
July.
Enjoy.
I just wanted to
Well,
add
good
that I
seeing
got
y'all.
the music coming out real soon. Stay tuned. Faded and Captain Planet dropping real soon next month. Get ready for that. Peace.
Oh yeah.
All right. We're looking
yeah.
forward to that. All right. See you later, Bach, Dolo,
All right, guys.
Bars,
I lost it
and
at the
Alex.
end, but good talking to you.
No worries.
Group chat.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the chat, and we'll talk to each other right before the finals start. See ya.
Easy, friends.
Peace.
All right, y'all be safe.